There we go. Calm down. Calm down. This video is about SD cards. Now, recently, somebody, I'm not saying who, did a somewhat bogus review on the Fujifilm X-H1. What was extremely evident to everybody with more than 10 brain cells is that A, obviously this person rented the camera rather than purchasing it, which is okay, but apparently only spent a few hours actually with the camera before doing the review, and therefore was extremely, let's say totally, unfamiliar with the customization features. Now, God, let me get this off my head. I don't know how anybody on earth could, God, it's stuck in my glasses, for God's sakes. Hey, let's throw that over there. And I think it was crawling along the floor earlier. Might have legs. Now, I have no affiliation to Fujifilm, but let me say something specifically. And this is also instructions from Fujifilm, because I noticed in that review, and this is not really about that bogus X-H1 review, that at 22 minutes and 28 seconds, I believe, the SD cards were laying on the table, and I noticed that, oh, lo and behold, they were absolute trash, garbage SD cards. And additionally, they were SD cards that Fujifilm did not recommend for use in the Fujifilm cameras. Now, you're saying to yourself, well, you know, I got some cheap old cards. You know, a lot of you fail to realize, and this is going to be a salty rant, and this is not about that bogus X-H1 video, which was a bogus review of the Fujifilm X-H1. It was embarrassingly bad. I could definitely call it unresearched and unbecoming. But regarding SD cards, everybody knows I get a lot of emails asking about tech support questions on not only Nikon but Fujifilm. I really got a success rate, even though, you know, sometimes you actually have to have something in your hand to diagnose it. But I have a success rate of about 95%, just like going over through process elimination, diagnostic elimination about what the issue is. And 100% of the time, there's actually a couple instances where there were faulty cameras. One was a faulty Nikon D500. There were actually two instances of one was a defective XT2, another one was a defective used and very beat up XT1. People using the wrong SD cards. You know, the person that actually did this video review, even though the video review was bogus and very, very sloppily and poorly done, you know, when you're showing that you're using pro-grade cards laying there, it's like, well, the cards are rated at 250 megabit. That's actually not what they are. They're crap. They're crap cards. It's not my opinion. It's not my feeling. It's not my belief. The person that actually did that video review on the X-H1 said, oh, I got a couple lockups. You know, I've actually answered, oh, I don't know, maybe about over the past year and a half, 2 years, maybe 150 emails on lockups on Nikon and Fujifilm. That's 60% or 70% Fujifilm, the rest Nikon. And hey, what cards are you using? Well, I'm using the same cards. Yeah, what cards are you using? And by the way, did you know that some SanDisk cards, actually I think it's like 30% of SanDisk cards bought through Amazon. I said, what cards are you using? Using some sort of bogus card. And if I narrow that down, they're actually using SanDisk card. It's like, where did you get these cards from? Let me ask you, given the fact they tell me what they are, it's like, did you get them from Amazon? Why, yes, I did. Therefore, they're genuine. No, even Petapixel picked up on this fact recently in some article that they wrote, and I've been telling you about it. Even Amazon sells fake SanDisk cards. How do they do that? Here's how Amazon sells fake SanDisk cards. There's actually a word for it where they actually take the entire lot of one particular product and they lump them all together. Like say Amazon orders a crap load of SanDisk cards of one particular variety. Say they're the 64 gigabyte, 300 megabit per second cards like these. Then they run short and they have another supplier that has the same cards. They'll get them from them. And so what you'll have is genuine cards mixed in with counterfeit, of course they're all coming from China, counterfeit SanDisk cards And so it's not that Amazon is intentionally ordering counterfeit cards. What they're doing is they're getting the same product from multiple sources. Some are genuine, obviously from the company they're genuine, but some of their source suppliers for the same product from other people are counterfeit. And before Amazon weeds it out that they're counterfeit, there's just a huge mishmash. Several people have picked up on this, including Petapix. For God's sakes, and another thing. Any expensive camera, and an expensive camera is basically any camera over $1,000, right? If you're going to spend, a decent amount of money on a camera, for God's sakes, let's just cut the crap. And just let's be honest. It's like buying some sort of high-performance roadster car and then sticking in the trash gasoline. It's like, didn't you just buy a really expensive car and now you're sticking trash gas in it, which is going to cause, valve clog? Why the hell, if you can afford the camera, just write it into the cost. If you want to use cheap cards for, walking around and doing some street photography, click, 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 fine. If you're going to do any sort of action photography, sports, while we're ripping them off, ripping a burst off, at least for God's sakes, let's cut the crap. Buy a pair of, I assume your camera's got dual SD cards, a pair of, expensive as they are, 300 megabit per second SanDisk cards. You see the double set of gold contact pins here on the back? Please, you spent over $1,000 on the camera, whatever the hell the camera was. Well, I've had no issues with the cards in the past. The issue is that the newer cameras, including video and the burst rate and the frames per second they require the fastest cards or they will choke. And if you're using junk cards, it's a serious issue. If you're using slow cards, and even quality ones, like, I'm only using 95 megabit per second SanDisk. Yeah, that's fine. They're great. They're SanDisk, but they're also too damn slow. Well, I don't want to buy those expensive cards. Those damn cards cost too much. Well, didn't you just spend $2,000 on X brand camera? You can't afford to, pop out a few bucks for, a real set of high-speed SD cards, Series 2 set, dual pin contact, high-speed transfer SD cards. It makes no sense. It's not my opinion, it doesn't make any sense, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that video review, everybody told me to go watch it. I didn't want to watch it, but this person complained of a couple lockups, and then he shows his XH1, not his camera, a rental camera, laying there with these real crappy SD cards, just garbage pro-grade cards. It's like, well, that's your opinion. I got pro-grade cards. They seem to work fine. Yeah, they work fine until now, but it is the case that both from Nikon and Sony and Fujifilm, all of these cameras now are pushing the max limits of the buffering capability of these cards. I mean, 4K video, 12 frames per second. They need the faster cards. You've been getting along fine with that slow crap SD card. But those days are over, girlfriend. If you're going to buy a modern camera that you're going to stick in continuous high and hold down the shutter release button and fire it off like a machine gun, oh damn, I had a lockup. It's like, what were you using? Oh, I'm using some cards I got at my local Rite Aid convenience store. They were on sale for $9.90. Well, that's your problem, for God's sakes. This was not really that salty of a rant. Even Fuji Rumors was calling out that quote-unquote review video. It's like, dude's complaining about lockups and he's using non-approved garbage SD cards. I don't even get along with the guy. I actually have nothing wrong with him. He's halfway decent dude. He's a teacher that runs Fuji Rumors. But even he called him out on his website today, Fuji Rumors. It's like, the dude's clearly showing you he's using junk pro-grade cards, which are A, crap, and B, not approved in the specific list enumerated by Fujifilm. I'm like, you don't use these cards. You just don't. If you want to take a shot here, a shot there, obviously they're going to work fine. Well, they work fine. This is the fallacy all of you all are making, too. Well, the cards work fine. It's, yeah, doing this sort of photography, click, 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 you're right. Or even in continuous slow, like boom, boom, boom. You're going to do 4K video, or you're going to actually stick it in continuous high and stick it in boost mode and do continuous autofocus tracking in 11 frames per second. Oh, damn, my SD card. It's like, yeah, you maxed the camera out and you had crap SD cards in there. You see, that's the difference. When people tell me, well, the cards have been working, I've been using these same cards for years now. Yeah, on slower cameras. Now you got a high-performance camera with an enormous amount of frames per second that's also shooting 4K video, and now it needs a faster card. It needs a quality card, and it needs a faster card. So let's cut the crap. Was this rant that salty? I don't think it was that salty. That wasn't that salty. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos, please click the link below. До свидания, увидимся, aloha, as they say in Hawaii. And, you know, tell me to jump off a cliff if it makes you feel you're happy. Makes you feel happy. Tell me how much you hate me, you know, how bald and fat I look, or, you know, something else derogatory, because that makes you feel better about yourself. Because I get that all the time, too. And it doesn't faze me a bit. Yeah, it's like next, next, next. Stop using the junk SD cards. And stop using decent cards that are too slow for the camera you bought. You know, you bought an expensive camera. Stop cheaping out on the SD cards. Stop being a punk. Well, I'm going to buy this $100,000 Roadster Porsche 911. You know, it says in here it demands high-performance gas, but I think I'm going to stick that cheap crap in it from the convenience store. You know, the convenience store that has a gas station down the street. You know, it's like really crappy gas. I think I'm going to stick some of that cheap gas in my brand new Porsche 911 with 5 billion horsepower. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm going to stick some of that crap gasoline in my high-performance beast. Same analogy vis-a-vis modern expensive cameras with a high frame per second capability. You're choking them off. Calm down. Calm down. There we go. Cut the crap. Thank you.